The thing about it, me and Adidas, is like, I could literally say anti-Semitic and they can't drop me. I could say anti-Semitic things and Adidas can't drop me. Now what?
And then Adidas dropped him. Anybody remember that? After he said a whole bunch of anti-Semitic stuff.
Now what?
Now they drop you. Yeah, justifiably so, also. When you say some of the things that Kanye said, it's totally justified to drop him from everything, in my opinion. I mean, it got bad.
The most Nazi-like activities I've seen, and the Nazis, in my view, were thugs that shook people down, did a lot of really bad things.
But they did good things, too. We're going to stop dissing the Nazis all the time.
Jesus, dude. Seriously. Or what about this one?
Seriously, I've really studied a lot of history, plus I had family that was there. And so, I mean, I don't think Hitler was a good guy. I get the Hugo Boss uniforms, amazing. But I mean, just because you're in love with the design, you're a designer. Can we just kind of say, like, you like the uniforms, but that's about it?
No, there's a lot of things that I love about Hitler. A lot of things.
Yeah, he's straight up anti-Semitic. I mean, that's beyond anti-Semitism. That's a full-blown endorsement of Hitler. And at a certain point, it totally makes sense that Adidas would drop him. But there have been consequences to this. There have been social ramifications that came as a result of Kanye saying and doing what he said and did on InfoWars, on a bunch of other platforms. It wasn't just InfoWars. Now, let's talk about some of those consequences, because I got a phone call from somebody who's dealing with it directly. This is a voicemail somebody left me the other day.
Hey, Owen. This is Mara from Baltimore, Maryland. I just wanted to call you because today we were talking about the Nazis in class. I'm a teacher, 11th grade English. And a kid said to me, but Miss, Jews are in charge of everything. Kanye said so. So if you could just give me some talking points as to how to debunk that, that would be excellent. Thank you so much. Love what you do.
Yeah, I appreciate the phone call. I would start out by saying that directly challenging the ideas that they espouse there may not accomplish anything. They may succumb to what's called the backfire effect, where they just shut down, don't want to talk about it, refuse to accept any evidence that you provide, or come up with counterclaim after counterclaim after counterclaim, try to shoot it all down. So a Socratic reasoning style might be helpful, like a street epistemology type of question that leads you to correct conclusions. Anthony Magnabosco famously has a YouTube channel that shows you how to do street epistemology, or like a Socratic reasoning method. So you could check his channel out if you wanted to give it a shot, see what he has to offer. But, the fact is the Jews don't control the world. The fact is they do not control the big banks. They do not control the media. They do not control any of this stuff that they list. A lot of these claims came from a document called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. You know what? Let me just play a little clip that I prepared the other day for another video that I made that kind of explains what the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is and how it's linked to the rest of society, or how it's kind of carried through to today. Just listen to this clip that I have. In 1902, newspapers in Tsarist Russia start publishing this document called The Protocols of the Elders of Zion. They came up with, I don't know, like 15 or 18 of them, or I don't remember exactly how many. They claimed that they found these documents on dead Jewish soldiers, and they were like articles that describe how the Jews were going to, like, accomplish world domination. Now, this is completely made up. It was anti-Semitic propaganda, obviously. There was no dead Jewish soldier. There were no elders of Zion. It was all completely fabricated from the ground up. But it was used to demonize a minority group within the country. And if there's one thing we've learned over the past couple of years even, it's that fascists and extremists love to blame all of their problems on minorities. Hitler, when he eventually came around, even reprinted copies of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. and wrote about it in Mein Kampf, like talked about how the Jews are trying to take over and all this other stuff. But in 1923, about 20 years after it came out, it was discovered that the Protocols of the Elders of Zion was actually plagiarized, full-blown, copied and pasted, or the writing version of copied and pasted, the early 1900s version of copy and paste, straight from an 1854 satire book, a French satire book that didn't even mention Jews. It was just straight up plagiarized. 80% of it was plagiarized from this 1854 book, thus putting the final nail in the coffin, proving that this was completely forged. It was fake. It was just propagandistic bullshit created by, anti-Semites to destroy the Jewish community. So that is what the Protocols of the Elders of Zion is. This is actually a copy of it right here. Protocols of the Elders of Zion. It was compiled into a book in 1905 called Protocols of the Meetings of the Learned Elders of Zion. A little bit longer, but yeah, it's all fake. It was all completely faked. I'm not exactly sure how many protocols there are. 10 at least. There may be more than that. Well, anyway, protocols includes things like, just listen to like one or two lines here. In miserable Russia, the Jews are less than 5% of the population, yet they hold over 90% of the official positions. Russians and Jews are very much different, yet Russia is governed by a mere handful of unprincipled Jews. The 95% of Russians have only a 10% say-so about their own government, and even the 10% in office are but lickspittle, or fronts, to the domineering Jews. To the reasoning mind, such a condition of affairs seems impossible, yet the condition exists. In fact, a careful study to the protocols alone will clear up the mystery. Now that you've read that one sentence from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, a book supposedly discovered on a dead Jewish soldier, written by Jews in power, listen to what this televangelist Lance Wallnau says. He's about to explain Seven Mountains Dominionism, or the Seven Mountains Mandate, which is the televangelist's plan to take control of the country. I'm not joking. This is from early March 2022.
3% of the population, roughly 3 to 4% of the population, are radical leftist elites. 30% of the population are evangelical born-again Christians that are inclined to go towards Pentecostal language. I mean, we're really out there. 30% against 3%, but they neutralize the church because they're also in religion. They changed the definition of marriage, so they've taken over family. They've totally taken over academia, so the education institutions are teaching leftist theology or leftist ideology and silencing conservatives. They're controlling government right now. They've taken over legacy media, Hollywood, entertainment, and arts, and now they've got Wall Street.
These are the 7 mountains, the 7 areas of society that they want to take over to control society in a Christian nationalist state, is what he's describing right now. This came straight out of the Protocols of the Elders of Zion, directly lifted from it. Did Lance Wallnau lift it? I don't know. Somebody did and provided this information to him, and he started repeating it. Somebody lifted it directly from Protocols.
This is 3%. 30% of the population is Christian. How is it that 30% are dominated by 3%? They have a worldview for bringing their kingdom here now.
I'm dead serious. This came straight from Protocols. Jews are less than 5% of the population, yet hold over 90% of the official positions. Russians and Jews are very much different, yet Russia's governed by a mere handful of unprincipled Jews. I mean, you're seeing the similarities, right? There are other similarities. I can't find it at this moment, but there's another part that talks about Jews attempting to spread Darwinism and Marxism through society because they're wonderfully destructive ideologies. They're trying to spread them through society to destroy society. Does this sound familiar? Darwinism, Marxism, saying that they destroy society. The leftists are setting out to destroy it. Seriously. Word for word, the tactics being used on the right at the moment. That's what Protocols of Elders of Zion is. That's what it's all about. That's where a lot of televangelists are getting their ideas from. Directly, I don't know. Setting out to deceive? I don't know. Are they even aware of this document? I have no idea. But it's copied word for word in some situations, and it's uncanny. Oh, here's another one. The idea that Jews eat babies or that the elites drink adrenochrome from children. That's straight from Protocols of the Elders of Zion. QAnon is nothing more than a rebranded Nazi death cult. Every conspiracy theory you can come up with came from this document. The Great Reset, QAnon, there are a billion of them out there that came from this. Here are a couple more. Cancel culture came straight from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. The Great Reset, the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, where they're trying to bring in immigrants from other countries and get them citizenship so that they can vote in our elections to flip the elections to like Democrats. That's all fabricated nonsense. Doesn't work that way. And it's from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Every major conspiracy theory you can think of is from that document. Now, that took me about 10 minutes to explain. The little fire that somebody can light in 30 seconds or even 10 seconds by saying, well, that's what Kanye said. That's what Kanye was repeating. Kanye says that the Jews control the world, or that the Jews control the media, or this or that or whatever. You can start a fire in 10 seconds, and it takes me 10 minutes to put it out. And ultimately, these people are not looking for evidence. Evidence probably wouldn't convince them. Like I said earlier, it would likely cause a backfire effect. So you can explain the evidence if you have the time and you want to sit down with each individual person, but reasoning them out by asking non-confrontational questions in a Socratic reasoning style, like street epistemology style, like you'd find on Anthony Magnabosco's YouTube channel, that's a really good way to try to get somebody to kind of come out of their shell and wake up to the fact that this is all completely made up. 9 of the 10 biggest banks were not founded by and are not run by Jews. There's a single famous Jewish bank that was started by Jewish people, which is Goldman Sachs. And I believe it stayed in a family through the generations, so it's still run by a Jewish family. That's the only one out of 10 that was founded or run by Jews. Now, there might be 1 or 2 Jews scattered throughout, the banking industry. They do not make up a disproportionate amount of people in the banking industry, like people claim. It's all completely made up. So take that for what you will, and hopefully that'll help contribute to conversations that you have on the subject. Good luck. I can't imagine that's fun.
Hey, Owen, Guy Young, Brookville, Illinois. Time to beat the drum again. Sarah Huckabee Sanders, governor of Arkansas, has now passed a new law that prevents teachers from teaching CRT in Arkansas schools. So, and she says that's to protect parental rights. Okay, no CRT and don't say gay in schools is parents' rights. It's the right for parents to raise the next generation of racists, bigots, intolerants, xenophobes, haters. Good going, Sarah, but we knew what you're going to do anyway.
Yeah, what fascinates me about that is Sarah Huckabee Sanders, brand new governor of Arkansas, as mentioned. That's not all she did. She did ban CRT in schools and a couple of other things, but she also banned use of the word Latinx. Now, I think that's a stupid word, honestly. I don't see the point, but it's honestly not even my fight. I don't speak Spanish. If Spanish speakers want to use the word Latinx, go nuts. They don't seem to. Seems to be a deeply unpopular word within the Spanish-speaking community, but okay, whatever. But to ban language like that, to ban words, these people claim to be free speech absolutists, don't they? These people claim to care about censorship. This is literal censorship, government censorship that we're talking about. Banning words. Now, I don't think she banned them for everybody to use. I think it's like on government forums and stuff, I assume. I hope. But at this point, I wouldn't put anything past them. Seriously, it's nuts.
Hey, Owen. My name is Victoria. I currently live in Nevada. I have left you a message before. It was when I lived in Texas. This isn't anything about a question or anything like that. and I don't really care if anybody else hears this, but I've had the worst day today, and I'm not going to get into detail about it, but I was watching your video, commented on it, and you ended up like 10 minutes after I commented liking it, and I just wanted to let you know how much that made my day. I know it was something very small and insignificant to you, but honestly, 30 minutes prior, I was in a heat storm of rage and tears, basically. And I don't know if I necessarily believe in fate or anything like that, but I just wanted to let you know how much you encourage people and how much we appreciate you for everything that you do and bringing light to situations that are difficult for others to talk about. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate the voicemail, and I'm glad I could help contribute in some small way to make things a little bit better. I didn't have to play that voicemail. I obviously listened to it earlier, but I did want to make a point about this. As public figures, as people who others look up to, it's really easy to make somebody's day better by commenting on what they say, or even something as simple as liking a message that they've left or listening to it or responding to it or whatever. It's super easy to make somebody's day. But in the same vein, it's really, really easy to ruin somebody's day. Now, I don't know if any public figures even listen to me. I would love it if they did. You know, anybody who's in a similar position to me where they have a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel or something like that. I don't know if others listen to me or not. I know I don't listen to a lot of other atheist YouTubers, but just in case they do, it's important to be aware that any negative interaction at all, anything, even asking a simple question in a sarcastic way, can lead to ruining somebody's entire week. It is so easy to ruin somebody's week or to make their week. You can build them up or you can tear them down when you're in a certain position, like I am or like a lot of other YouTubers are. And a lot of people don't realize that. That's why it's so deeply important to me, in my opinion, to never insult anybody, if at all possible. Avoid it at all costs. Never insult. Especially if you're talking to people directly in comments or something. Don't ever insult somebody. Don't ever make fun of somebody. Don't ever use sarcasm. Don't be a D-bag. Because that one simple act that you do holds so much more weight than the power that they hold over you. Yeah, they can piss you off. They can troll you. They can make you feel like... But you can wreck people's lives by just being a sarcastic D-bag, as evidenced by this voicemail. How effective it is for me to just go around on the internet and like people's comments and interact with them and talk to them. There's so much power in the hands of public figures, and I feel like most of them do not take that seriously or care about it enough. So anyway, I just wanted to draw attention to it, just in case anyone's out there listening.
Hello, Owen. This is Max Fisher. I live in Illinois. I was just thinking about your mom.
Your mom!
And that video where you and Kylie...
Oh, okay. I guess it was non-aggressive. Well, your mom anyways.
And I don't...
Let me step back.
Your mom. And that video where you and Kylie and... I don't remember, some nebulous family member and your mom. I was just
your mom.
Thinking about that video and how, you know, she was talking to you and saying absolutely atrocious things.
Yeah, so the video that is being referenced here is an argument that I got into with my mom forever ago. It was the last time I spoke to her. We speak very, very infrequently, or spoke. Like once a year, basically, if that even. We talked over the past, like, I don't know, 15 years or so, since I was 18. And last time I spoke to her, it was because my grandpa was really sick. Or no. Last time I talked to her was because I had a family member visiting who wanted to see me, and we live fairly close now, my mom and I do, within a few hours of each other now. So my mom was gonna like meet up with this family member so I could see them and all that stuff. And I get in the car with my mom, and she just, it was raining outside. We get out of the car, and I had an umbrella in the back of the car, but it was a rainbow umbrella, a pride umbrella. So I asked my mom if she wanted to use the umbrella, and, you know, it was obvious that it was a pride umbrella, and she said no. She didn't want to use the umbrella, basically. And she took that as, like, me shoving it down her throat, offering her an umbrella, the only one that I had, despite the fact that it was a pride umbrella. She wouldn't use it because it was a pride umbrella. So that's what the conversation was over. Listen to how it went.
Then you don't like that about me.
No, I do. I'm okay with you.
You love it that I don't like apostasy.
No,
right?
I want you to be in my life, even as a Jehovah's Witness.
I want you to.
Why would I love to be hated by her? Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Life, even as a Jehovah's Witness,
I want you to be in my life, even as a disfellowship person.
Perfect.
Not
No
apostate.
hang-ups then.
I cannot do apostate.
I don't
period.
need to talk about anything Jehovah's Witness related
Yeah, but
with
you've
you.
been poking at me the whole time. Shoving your pride crap in my face.
What she's talking about is the umbrella that I offered her. It was a rainbow umbrella. That's shoving pride crap in her face, apparently. In all seriousness, Jehovah's Witnesses are incapable of leaving religion out of it. She thinks that it's me bringing up religion. It's really her. I just wanted her to use an umbrella. I wasn't shoving it down her throat. Jehovah's Witnesses program their people to constantly talk and think about the religion nonstop. And if the people around you aren't receptive to it because they're disfellowshipped or they're on the outside of the religion for one reason or another, or they don't want to hear about it, or they have other ideas that they want to offer to you, it's a problem. They won't put up with it. That is what the whole argument was over. A Jehovah's Witness and a non-Jehovah's Witness will never be able to be friends if the Jehovah's Witness is living up to the standards set out by the governing body because of the personality they program into their people. It's impossible. Keep listening.
Shoving your pride crap in my face.
Okay, so I think we've established you don't want to be in my life.
We have established that because
Because of who I am.
you're apostate, that is correct. You're the one who makes me miserable by insisting on being something that you know is repulsive to me.
I want you in my life, Ma.
Well, I don't want to be in the life of an apostate. I'm very sorry. That's it.
Okay, I know that. So in the course of that conversation, she said, I make her miserable and I'm repulsive to her. That was pretty sad to deal with. And that's actually the last time I heard from her. I did tell my aunt that I didn't want to see my mom again until the day she's in a coffin after that conversation. No, actually, it was, I did see her one more time. It was at my grandpa's funeral, and things went even worse than that, if you can believe it. So, anyways, yeah, that's the conversation being referenced by the voicemail caller.
And it kind of reminded me of Darth Vader from Star Wars, and how Darth Vader always says that Anakin Skywalker, his original self, is dead, and that he is what remains. And it kind of reminds me of your mother and how...
Your mother!
And how the cult sort of killed her, and this is her new identity. And I hope that your real mom, not the cult, is still in there, but it's hard to know. You don't have to play this if you don't want. Anyway, thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Yeah, I appreciate the voicemail. Decided to play it anyways. I don't think that there is anything left of the ex-Jehovah's Witness or the non-Jehovah's Witness. I don't believe there's anybody in there anymore. It is only the Jehovah's Witness remaining after all these years. But even if there was somebody left over from before, even if there was part of that original personality, I don't care anymore. I'm done. I spent 15 years trying to work with her and work around the rules that she set up so that we could even have a relationship in the first place. And she shot them to pieces every single time. You know, something as simple as, I'm not bringing religion up, not going to talk about it, but I happen to have a Pride umbrella in my back seat, and she needs an umbrella. I give it to her. Suddenly, she's breaking rules. She can't show support for the Pride movement, and I just gave her this umbrella. Literally every single piece of her life revolves around this religion. And if that's not how it works for you, then she can't be in your life. There is nothing left of her original personality, in my opinion. And that, you know, that happens sometimes. I was born into it. I didn't have an authentic personality. That's what we call it in cult circles, an authentic personality. I didn't have one. My authentic personality was formed out by the religion. I mean, she had an authentic personality before joining, but it's gone. It's long gone. She is who she is now, and I just don't want to see her again until she's in a coffin, honestly. Anyway, yeah, thank you so much for the voicemail. I appreciate that. Thank you all for all of the voicemails. I thought it was super interesting. Steven Crowder received a contract offer, aka a term sheet, from the Daily Wire to be like one of the people that, you know, one of the hosts on the Daily Wire, like Matt Walsh or Candace Owens or even Ben Shapiro. I think he's considered a host, even though he owns it. They offered him a position, $50 million over the course of 4 years to be a host on the Daily Wire. And he came out against the Daily Wire and said they're scamming people. It's a con. He registered the website stopbigcon.com or something like that, like after the term sheet was offered to him. It was a standard term sheet. There was nothing out of the ordinary about it. I've seen term sheets like that a billion times. I've talked to organizations like that. Nothing unusual about it. It wasn't scammy. It wasn't trying to take advantage of Steven Crowder or any of that. He's just a crybaby snowflake. And I thought this is fake, right? I thought this is manufactured outrage to get attention at first. But, you know, when you think about it, this debate happens throughout the atheist community too. It happens through every community. There's always a big struggle between people who believe that commentators or activists should do their work for free and people who accept that it costs money to work in this business or to succeed at these things. So money being a necessary part of it, they think that money should be an acceptable compensation, right? The Daily Wire says we need money to accomplish these goals. If you want us to spread our message far and wide, we have to be able to pay for new cameras. We have to be able to pay for people to point the cameras, do the editing. We have to pay for all this stuff. But Steven Crowder's argument with this seems to be from the position that everybody should do this for free because they believe in the cause. And they shouldn't take a dime of payment for this. And if they do take a dime of payment, then they're frauds. That's like his viewpoint on it, seemingly. He's just full of shit. As Ben Shapiro said in his response to Steven Crowder, this isn't a communist company. Daily Wire is not a communist company. It's a capitalist company that is here to make money and accomplish goals in the process. Steven Crowder seemed to want compensation, $50 million over 4 years, for nothing. Or whether or not he brought money in, he wanted that. This isn't a charity, as Ben Shapiro said. I just don't understand how Steven Crowder came to the conclusions he came to. He's just not very intelligent, seemingly.